Hey everybody, my name's Kathy Benz, and I'm a psychic and a healer and a student of the Course in Miracles. I spent 15 years studying at one of the top psychic schools in America, and I learned at that time that you can learn how to be a psychic. And everything that I read seemed to solve problems, seemed to help us forgive other people, and helped us to heal spiritually, energetically, emotionally, and also heal our minds. It wasn't until much later that I started reading A Course in Miracles. And what I recognized was that the Course in Miracles started to explain why everything I was doing in my psychic practice was helpful. And I'm a curious person. I want to know. So I opened up the Course in Miracles and I read A Course in Miracles line by line, sentence by sentence. And I went deep into the meaning of each individual sentence. Now, this was took me years to get through this. I studied before I really understood A Course in Miracles. I had to read it backwards and forwards, probably, or read it through probably 5 times, right? And then I started to really understand the connections between the Course in Miracles and what it was saying and how that was pertaining to the psychic healing that I was doing. So, of course, I brought it into my psychic school. I run the Divine Spirit Healing Center. I have a clairvoyant training program. We do beginner classes, and we work with archangels, ascended masters. We're working with crystalline energy now, upgrading our DNA. Also, working with goddesses and teaching people how to read other people in a way that's healthy. But why does it work? This is a really important question. Why does psychic reading work, and what are the spiritual principles behind it? So I'm going to bring you to A Course in Miracles. I'm actually going to start at chapter 2 in the chapter called The Separation and the Atonement. And the first section of it is the origins of separation. Now, you'll see that this is just all we're going to talk about in this video is the first sentence of that chapter, which is to extend is a fundamental aspect of God, which he gave to his son. So the origin of all mind, the origin of the universe is this thing that we call God. And we, all the minds, not only the minds of humans, but all minds within that universe that was created is the sun. And so the Course in Miracles, if you say son, just say children, right? The children of God. And the question came up for me when I read this. To extend is a fundamental aspect of God, which he gave to his son, to extend. And I'm thinking, what does that mean? And I think we have to recognize that we're really not talking about extending something physically. We're talking about energy. We're talking about mind, right? So we're going to be extending the mind. So what is it that is being extended? What do we extend was the question that I needed to know, right? When I heard this, I was like, what are we extending exactly? And I think and so what I've come up with is that the extension in A Course in Miracles refers to the natural act of sharing or radiating the divine qualities of God, right? So primarily love, mind, oneness, or unity. And these are extended without loss or diminishment. So, as an extension in the spiritual sense means to expand or increase rather than to spread out and become less. And so, this is one of the fundamental differences between spiritual energy and physical matter. So, if I were to have a pen and I give you a pen, now you have a pen and I don't have a pen. But if I were to give you love, then it's increasing love, and the whole universe is increased by the love that this interaction between you and I actually creates an expansion of love. And these are the creations of our soul. So I just love this concept that if I love you, not only does that not decrease the amount of love that universally the purpose of my soul is to increase the creation, and the creation is an expansion of God's mind and God's love. And later in the Course in Miracles, it says that your creations will be lovingly kept for you in heaven, right? And what are my creations? What are my creations? And I searched through the book. It probably took me 6 or 9 months of reading the book before I found the place where it says your creations are love, right? We're actually creating when we create love, or when we share love, like true love with another person, not the egoic love that ends up being, a scarcity. Like love is scarce. And if I love somebody, I have to keep that safe and protect it and separate it. And to separate is to make something smaller. These are one of the things that we're learning, that the Course in Miracles teaches us. So when I expand love, so the true mission and purpose of my spirit, or my consciousness being in existence, is to grow and expand the creation, which is to grow and expand love. So I'm extending to you love, and in that I'm creating more love. Right now there's more love available, let's say, in the system. So the sonship, which is all minds that are within the creation, which is all of us, is the result of this extension. And our true function is to continue extending that love and unity in return. So the basis of A Course in Miracles is, what is the miracle? The miracle is the shift from fear to love. And that is the miracle. And once we shift to love and then extend that love, we have increased the creation, God's creation, in existence, right? Beyond time and space. It is what is left after everything else is gone. So all the physical is gone. The universe stops working, dissipates, freezes up, expands to nothingness, time and space ends. But what is left is the love that we create in this world. And not only that, just one last thing here, which I think is important, is that it also says that when we create love and we forgive, that forgiveness, and that is the miracle, right? The miracle is the shift from fear to love. That miracle goes and works through all time. So it works with all time, through all time. So that means it goes back to the beginning of time and makes corrections along the timeline. So once something is forgiven, it never existed. It is not a sin. It is now an extension of love through the timeline. And so all the effects of that fear are dissipated through the mind and through the creation. But not only that, it's going to go into the future, and it's going to keep working until the end of time. So this is very powerful. All I need to do is create forgiveness within my own heart and mind, and that works through all time. I feel like a superhero. I feel very empowered within that. And always the ego is always going to feel small and fearful and insignificant and disempowered. But this is why the Course in Miracles was channeled to us, so that we can understand the difference between ego and our divine mind. So that's it for line number 1, and I'll come back to you with line number 2 to this chapter. Thank you so very much.